Boys and their toys. A phrase that evokes the idea that adult men sometimes dote excessively on machines, automobiles, or gadgets in a childlike manner.
This is Greg Breen, a huge lifelong fan of science fiction films and TV. Over the years, he's developed a skill and a passion for creating realistic props from his favorite movies. This is Mike Breen, the younger brother, who, like Greg, shares a love of the sci-fi world. As teens, they collectively work together to create their own movie magic with the stuff they built.
We used an 8mm camera to film, and just, kids running around with guns and stuff like that.
We'd make a lot of horror movies or science fiction.
We didn't really have a plan or anything, we just kind of did it. We're just playing around. We just, we liked using fake blood and everything. We make blood out of beet juice.
We actually figured out that there was a little scratch in the film. The light would shine through it. So we realized that if we scratched the film off, we could make like a laser blast and let the light shine through. So I think the film just gave us an excuse to build props and stuff too, so it kind of drove us.
Then in 1977, a revolutionary film was released to the world that captured the hearts of young and old. The science fiction masterpiece, Star Wars.
Yeah, that stood out. That was a major impact on the science fiction world.
It was just so big and so new that it just sort of blew us away.
Just had my eyes wide open when I was watching that.
The film was a constant inspiration for the two growing up, motivating them to improve their building skills and to work it into their home movies. Even into their adulthood, Star Wars would be a force that drove one brother to take his love of prop building to the next level.
I just happened to have a whole bunch of parts from something, from machinery I'd taken apart or something, and I just decided, I think Greg was talking about a lightsaber or something, and I just decided to throw one together. And it looked really cool, and it had weight to it, and it was, it was quite pleasing to hold and stuff, and I gave that to him, and I guess it just flicked the switch.
So I just went and made like 10 of them.
And after I built that first lightsaber and came back and saw, 7 looking back, I thought, like, he just took it and completely perfected it. And then just started coming up with everything. And yeah, I kind of stopped and he kept going. He just sort of took over from where I left off.
I just pretty much use anything. Anything that looks like a piece I can use.
I'll look at some of the things he's made. They'll have parts on them. I'll say, this looks really cool. And it's like a handle from a ratchet strap or something. It's like, you're kidding, right? Like, how do you even think of that?
This is modeled after Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wanted it to look original and all that stuff. So I was pretty picky about what I put on. But there was some stuff on here, like the sink handle from England. Right here is a gear. This is a Graflex clamp, but I made my own. And these are calculator bubbles from 1970.
I guess the original Star Wars ones, they just went to the thrift store and bought a bunch of stuff and threw it together. So going on that, instead of trying to replicate what they did, he's just basically doing the same thing again.
This was a sink handle that I modified to look like the lightsaber emitter. Right here, look, is what they used for the original, is a rifle grenade, if you look at all that. And it's all rusty and everything, so they made it look real. Everything's old and dirty in Star Wars. There's nothing new. Everything's dented or scraped or scuffed. Details, to me, seems to be a big thing. Like, you just keep putting detail on it.
It makes a piece.
Yeah, it does. It totally does,
The sometimes cruelness of adulthood would forever change the details of Greg's life in 2002, as he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
It just started. It just all of a sudden I felt like I had a pain in my back, like a nerve, and laid me out. So I wasn't able to do anything from there on. No work.
you know, when he was diagnosed, I kind of thought, uh-oh, like that's a person that's really going to infringe on their lifestyle.
The prop building, it did increase more because I needed something to do, and I seem to have a knack on building things, so out of junk. I just took off from there. You know, I made about 10 blasters and 10 lightsabers and models and all sorts of stuff.
Not being able to work, Greg focused his time into his prop building as a form of therapy. Over the next 4 years, he would work with theater groups creating realistic props for their performances. But his biggest influence was from that galaxy far, far away, and he spent hours turning his garage into his ship shop.
I couldn't really do a lot because of my MS. So I would just come out and do a bit, and then I would leave it, do it at my own speed, and then I would come out when I felt like it.
This is elaborate. I know you can't really see everything on camera, but
yeah.
It's from top to bottom, all 4 walls. There's not a break anywhere. This is an amazing job you've done.
Everything Greg builds is from his imagination. There's never really a plan.
I just start. I usually get a tube or a piece of PVC and just start from there, and just whatever comes to my mind. Yeah, that's really bizarre, man. I just put it on this piece of plastic or whatever I'm using, and if it doesn't work, then you just, you know, it's a good thing to make mistakes, because then that's how you learn. And we'll do that.
As years pass, MS has taken its toll on Greg's abilities. He's had to downsize and move to a smaller shop, but he still continues to do what he loves.
It's interesting to see that he's scaled down what he does. He's not out constructing ski lodges or stuff anymore. Now he's, you know, in his shop building things, but he's still doing all he can do in a day.
It was a good thing. I really enjoyed doing it, and it helps me, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
If eventually that gets down to gluing 2 pieces of wood together, he'll still do that, and I think that's what gives him his outlet and his therapy, because, you know, he's still doing stuff.
Does it look semi like it?